And we are recording.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We have a short PowerPoint presentation to talk, and then I have got a couple of alumni here to also talk about and share their experience. But thank you all for joining us today. You'd think by now I would have this all figured out, but here we are. All right. So just to let everyone know, my name is Michelle Walters. I work with AIFS Study Abroad. I'm based up in the San Francisco Bay Area, so not too far from all of you out there. Down in Southern California. I studied abroad with AIFS during my undergrad as well. I was at the University of Limerick in Ireland, so I know the program both from the professional side and also from the student side. And I am really happy to be here to chat with you all. And then I'm going to go ahead and let my alumni ambassadors introduce themselves too. Alina, if you want to go ahead and go first.
Hello, my name is Alina. I am a sophomore at the University of California, Berkeley, and I studied abroad in Granada, Spain in fall of 2018.
I'm Olivia. I'm a senior at Cal Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks, and I also studied abroad in Granada, but in spring of 2019.
Perfect. Thank you both. So obviously they are not CSU students, but they do have the experience of being recent returnees, at least much more recent than me. And so they're going to be able to just share sort of the on the ground experience that they had later on. So just a really quick overview about AIFS Abroad. For those of you who maybe are, coming to us for the first time or, haven't really looked into our programs just yet. We've been around since the mid 60s, which means we've had a little over than 1.5 million students study abroad with us throughout the years. We work in about 35 different program cities around the world, multiple countries. We also have programs that are available for internship opportunities as well as study abroad opportunities. These are offered throughout the year, whether it's a semester, a summer, J-term, kind of various times throughout the time. So hopefully it's flexible. There's no specific language requirements. So if you're coming to us and you're like, I really want to study in Russia, but I don't have Russian language skills, that's totally fine. You can take language, but you can also take courses in English. Our programs are open to all different majors. We work with students who are graduating high school seniors through graduating college seniors in various capacities. And then all of our fees are also guaranteed in US dollars. So what does that mean? You go on our website, you take a look, the fees are all listed. That means that what you're going to be paying is going to be in the US dollar. You don't have to worry about currency fluctuations, changes of fees, things like that. So if you are a student who needs to budget, which is most students, I would say, I remember being that student as well. It's a really easy way for you to kind of figure out what your fees are and what will be, what studying abroad will cost you. Another thing that I always like to highlight as well is that, why would you even want to either study abroad or intern abroad or have an international experience? Many students come to college knowing that this is exactly what they want to do. They want to go abroad for a semester or a summer. They want to do an internship. They want to have that opportunity, but not every student is like that. And not every student actually eventually gets abroad. So one of the things that we always talk about when we're, talking about these opportunities is that it is a really great experience for you to put on your resume. Less than 10% of college students are having some sort of international experience. And along with the professional side of it, it also gives you a lot of personal growth. You help meet people from all over the world. It's great for any sort of future educational applications that you have. And I think a lot of us are feeling it right now when it comes to not being able to travel, just the opportunity to go out and see and experience a culture and a community that's different from your own is really, really impactful too. So just kind of giving you an overall look, these are where we have our program locations. We are kind of all over the world. We do programs in South America. We do a lot of programs in Europe. We do programs in Asia. We do programs in South Africa. We have multi-destination summer travel programs, which means you are learning a specific topic, but getting to travel and compare it in various parts of either different countries or different parts of one country. And then another thing that we have that's become really popular right now, obviously a sign of the times we're living in, is virtual internship options. I'm not going to go into too much about the virtual internship opportunities, but just know that they're out there and that they are available for you. We have a number of different types of programs as well. So I've sort of talked a little bit about them so far, but we have the traditional study abroad programs, which means you are taking, academic courses either in like a partner university or a student or a university or a program center. You can do internships. These can be both in person as well as virtual. And then there's community engagement opportunities, which is somewhat similar to an internship, but you're working with a local community a couple days a week, having the opportunity to kind of look at sustainable programming that's outside of the classroom as well. They're, like I said, they're offered for the semester or for an academic year. We have summer programs and then J-term programs as well. As I mentioned before, programs are open to all different majors. So you could be a communication major, you could be an education major, you could be a biology major and go on any one of our programs. That doesn't necessarily mean that every program is going to have the courses that you absolutely need. So you really, really want to plan ahead, work with your study abroad office, work with your academic advisors to figure out what courses you can take abroad and what courses you have to take on campus. For example, when I was an undergrad, I studied communication and sociology, and my communication department had said all of my comm classes have to be at my home university. So I freed up, my schedule for finishing up my minor while I was abroad. And then I also tried to take the opportunity to take at least one elective, a class that you would never get to take on your home campus, that you probably would never get to take in your regular life, if you will. And for me, that was an Irish music and dance class. So we learned how to play Irish music. We, learned how to play the tin whistle. We learned Irish dances. It was so out of the box for me and for what I was studying, but it was a really great opportunity to get to know the local culture and to get to know, some of the local flavoring of where I was studying. I also mentioned, there's no specific language requirements for any of our programs. If you are looking to do internships, there may be, some language skills that you need to have previously, but for the most part, you'll be able to take your courses in English or in the host language if you are if you're able to level into those classes. So really quickly, what does a AIFS program look like? One of the reasons why I chose AIFS and one of the reasons why I think a lot of our students end up coming with us is that because we're sort of an all-inclusive program. So you see a program fee online, and that includes pretty much everything that's listed here. You get pre-departure support, help with visas if necessary. Housing is covered, meal plans. There's on-site staff for 24 hours a day, if anything comes up. A ton of excursions and weekly, cultural events, health and travel insurance. A lot of these things are really helpful. So if you are looking to kind of get a lot of bang for your buck, our programs are really great. I honestly chose AIFS, and I still remember this so clearly because they included the meal plan, and I was like, I'm going to need food while I am abroad. So that is something that was obviously important to me as a college student. But we can go in a little bit more on that, on the kind of the nitty gritty of all these things later. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to our alumni right now to chat about their experiences. I think, Olivia, if you want to go ahead and talk about the in-class and your internship experience, that would be great. And then Alina can jump in.
Sure. So I took 4 classes while I was abroad. I took all of mine in Spanish, but there was an option. We all took a placement test at the beginning of the semester, and then some people had all their classes in English, except like a basic Spanish grammar class. Others had varying levels of Spanish classes. And then I did an internship teaching English in a school, which was really a highlight for me. There's also an option to do an early start program that starts a couple weeks before the majority of the program gets there. And Alina did that, so she can talk about that later if you have questions on it. But basically, you have the opportunity to take the placement test again after that and maybe level up in your Spanish class placement. So that's cool. All 4 of my classes transferred back to my university. I went abroad as a Spanish minor and I came back as a Spanish major because all of them counted for Spanish classes. 2 of them also double dipped for core classes at my university, so that was nice. For me, the class that I never would have taken at my home university was Islamic culture in Spain. So I got to learn a lot about the culture in southern Spain, and it counted as a religion class at my school as well. And then I took a Spanish literature class, which is helping me in one of my Latin American lit classes now. So that's nice to have that background. And then I had a Spanish grammar and a Spanish speaking and writing class. For me, the classes were a little bit different than the experience in the US, and it kind of depends based on what program you go to, where you go. But my experience was that there were fewer grades in the grade book, so it was less busy work than in the US, but I was kind of stressed about it at first because some of the grades were just a midterm and a final. But the professors were really kind and helped out, and it turned out the grades were nothing to be stressed about. I did just fine. A little bit more about the internship. It had a supplemental application before I left, so I did need Spanish skills for that. And the application was kind of stressful. They had a little interview at the beginning, but again, it totally worked out, and it was nothing to stress about in the end. And then I ended up going to this school Tuesday and Thursday mornings. So I would have most of my classes Mondays and Wednesdays. And then my internship was Tuesday, Thursday. I got to cycle through 6 different classes from 1st to 6th grade and work with a bunch of different teachers. And it was really rewarding. I learned a lot of Spanish, but also how to teach English. And now that's kind of what I want to do after graduation. So I'm applying to programs to go back to Spain and do the same thing. So that really started something inside me, and I would highly recommend doing an internship if you get the chance.
Thank you, Olivia. And Alina, if you want to jump in and talk about some of the outside of the classroom experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are so many things that AIFS makes available to you over the course of the program. One of the biggest things is that you have a lot of different housing options, from apartments to dorms to homestays. I did a homestay because I really wanted to be part of the Spanish culture, and I really wanted to work on my Spanish speaking skills. So I was able to live with a family in Spain, and it was probably the highlight of my experience, just getting to spend time with them and learn from them, and also to have people there that are really there to help you have the type of experience that you want and that are experts in where you are. So that was a really great part of my study abroad experience. AIFS also has a lot of excursions that are included within the program, or that you can pay a little bit extra for. So as part of the Granada program, you go all throughout the city to all of the main sites, and get to visit there, as well as do cultural activities like going to a flamenco performance, which was a lot of fun. But then you can also visit other cities like Madrid or Seville or Cordoba or Gibraltar and or Gibraltar and Morocco. I'm speaking in Spanish now, which was a lot of fun and an experience that I would not have had the opportunity to have had I not been part of the program. Some other things is there are opportunities to volunteer as well. So even if you're not able to do an internship, you can volunteer. I did volunteering through the Solidarios program, and was there to just spend time with an elderly couple. And talk with them for like 2 hours a week, which was really cool. So there are just a lot of options that AIFS makes available to you.
Awesome. Thank you. I have a question for you both, if either of you can jump in if you want to, but what made you, like, a lot of students are like, I know I want to go to Spain, but I don't know what city I want to go to. What made you pick Granada, or what kind of stuck out as you were planning your experience?
For me, I liked that Granada was a nice medium-sized city. It's not as big as like Barcelona or Madrid, so I felt safer and less overwhelmed by that. And then it's close to the beach and the mountains, about an hour drive, within an hour from both. And overall, the price too. Granada is one of the cheaper cities to study in Spain.
Yeah, I think I picked Granada for a lot of the same reasons. For me, like the fact that it was close to the beach and close to the mountains was really cool, and that it had a pretty mild climate, which I liked. It was also one of the cheaper options for sure, in terms of just like cost of living, going around the city. You can walk everywhere, so you don't really have to pay for transportation. In Granada has a culture of tapas, which come as free whenever you go to a bar and order a drink, which is really nice because you can essentially have an entire meal, just sort of going bar hopping, which is fun. And then also that it was a small city. For me, it was really important. I really wanted to be ingrained in the culture, to be working on my Spanish, and to be in a smaller city where most of the people do just speak Spanish was really important to me as well.
And I think that's also really important to mention is each student, each one of you out there are going to want to really kind of tick off the list of things that you're really looking for in your experience. So everything from what size city do you want to be in to what's going to be available to how affordable it is, I think is really important as you're planning, especially if you don't know exactly where you want to go. So thank you both for sharing. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward. So now that you're kind of in the process, you've heard a little bit about the programs, what we've got going on, and you're kind of figuring out what happens next. These are just 5 tips that I have that you can utilize to figure out, what happens now. You're really going to want to talk to the study abroad office as well as your academic advisor. I know we've mentioned that before, but they're going to be the ones who are going to help you figure out exactly when you can go abroad, what courses you can take, things like that, help you figure out with budgeting and financial aid and all of that stuff. You're also going to want to take a look at just really what courses are available and what we have on our different program options. On our website, we do have a list of all of the courses that are available for each program. And if you need specific syllabi or you're even more interested, you can always get in touch with me and I can track down the syllabus for you. You can go on our website and you can create a student account, which opens up our portal to y'all, which kind of gives you all of the to-do list of being, getting ready to prepare to study abroad or intern abroad. And if you haven't already yet, apply for your passport, especially as we're in this sort of strange waiting period of getting to go abroad again. Things are getting backlogged and things like that. So you might as well take care of getting your passport earlier rather than later. And then one of the most important topics I feel like students are always asking about is how in the world am I going to pay for this? How, studying abroad can be so expensive. And one of the things that we try and do is make it as affordable for you as we possibly can. And we also offer a number of scholarships and grants for our program. So if you go to our website, you can click on that QR code, or you can go to the link at the below, and you can kind of see all the different scholarships and grants that we have that are available. About 50% of our students are getting some sort of financial support from us. And you also want to check with your financial aid office, figure out what will go abroad, if any of your loans or grants or scholarships will go abroad. You just definitely want to check with them early on because it can be different for every campus. And then if you are, watching this as a recording, I wanted to leave my contact information. You can email me. You can set up an appointment via my calendar. If you have more questions for our alumni, they can answer those as well. I can put you in touch with them too. But we're really just here to support you and be there to help answer anything that you may need about going abroad. I'm going to ask one more question of Alina and Olivia before we end. Is there any tips that you have, 1 or 2 things that you would tell future study abroad students that you wish you had known before you went abroad?
Before I went abroad, one of the things I was really nervous about was like missing out on a semester at my home university, missing my friends, not having the activities. And I'm a really involved person. I do sports and campus jobs and stuff. But the feeling I had after I went, when I came back, was that everything was right where I left it and nothing at my university had changed, but I had changed. So I'm very glad that I took the leap and just went for it, and would recommend that everybody do the same.
Yeah, I think two tips that I would give is that first, look up the climate of the city that you're going to be living in. I went to Granada, and it turned out to be a little bit colder in the winter than I had expected, and I did not have a good enough coat. So I would definitely, be looking at that. And then second, I would just say that it's important to really just take advantage of the study abroad experience. I think, people sort of either get nervous about going abroad or aren't sure. And I would just say, it's definitely worth doing. It is an experience that you cannot have at your home university, and it will really make your life so much better. So I would say take that leap, do study abroad, and you'll be the better for it.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. I think that's all we have. If anyone who's live with us have any questions, you can put it in the chat or turn on your mic and feel free to ask it.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions from our attendees? Any questions? Any questions that you have for the panelists? Anything you want to hear? Any questions that you might have student to student? Sounds like you all did a thorough job. All right.
Thank you
Well,
all so much.
yeah, of course. And so do you want to, just in case, drop anything in the chat, or is it everything is all available like online in case like they, like you said, wanted directly email or any, oh, I guess it's on the site in front. Okay, cool. So we'll make this available on our website. And then so if Karen, Nora, or Sarah want to revisit it, it will be available on our Expo website in a couple of weeks. Also, you can find the information online, and you can also use this as a resource to get connected to our AIFS reps. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yeah, no problem.
And
All right, we might be ending a little bit early today. So, oh, Karen says thank you. Sounds good. All right, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.